So right now what's happening is we are on chapter 8 of part 2, Ayodhya Kanda. And right now what's happening is Kaikeyi is creating a big drama because she was instigated by her maid, Mantara. I close the window.
Noise. My mom's computer switched off. Just we have to join the class again.
Oh, everyone's here?
Yes.
Okay, good. My computer dropped, so I don't know what's happening. It's not happened before. So what happened is Mantara has told Kaikeyi to ask two boons from Dasharatha. One is to exile Rama to the Dandaka forest for 14 years, and two, to make Bharata the king of Ayodhya. Okay, so chapter 8, the dawn of the terrible day. Early in the morning, the Suttas and the others began to sing in the doorway of the chamber of Kaikeyi to wake up the king, as was the custom in any royal household. The king was roused and he signaled to them to stop the music. Kaikeyi, who was impatient to precipitate the final act, made the king sit up and said, "You promised me something, and I told you about my dearest wish. After agreeing to do what I asked you to, you're now being untruthful. You are not helping matters by lying on the ground, making much of a minor matter. Truth is as sacred as the mystic letter Om. Truth is the pathway for the achievement of all the four Purusharthas, which is Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. Truth is the essence of the Vedas. It is shameful on your part to abandon this truth and behave like this." The king looked all around like a stricken deer. He was helpless, bound as he was by his oath. He said, "The night has passed and the world is bright once again and with the rays of the sun. The elders in the court will now approach me with the desire to take me to the hall where the coronation is to be performed. With the waters collected for the Abhisheka, let Rama perform the funeral rites for me, who will die very soon. I have no desire to face my people whose wishes I have thwarted." Kaikeyi's eyes flashed with anger. She said, "Enough of this mourning, O king. Please send for my son and crown him. Banish Rama and your task is complete. I see no reason for your dalliance." Like a high-born horse, which is hurt by the unexpected whip wielded by the rider, Dasharatha winced at the words of Kaikeyi and said, "I wish to see my son Rama." In the meantime, when the sun's rim appeared in the east, Vashishta, surrounded by his pupils and disciples, entered the palace. People had already begun to assemble in the hall and in the courtyards, as also in the streets, waiting for the great event. So everyone is anticipating Rama's coronation. No one knows what's developed since the previous evening. So Vashishta met Sumantra, the favorite charioteer of the king. He said, "Sumantra, the king has not yet arrived. Go at once and tell him that everything is ready and that we are waiting for his coming." Tell him I've already kindled the fire and that the auspicious moment has arrived. Sumantra hurried to the chambers of Kaikeyi and entered the apartment singing the praises of the king as a Suta should. He then said, "Please wake up, my lord. Prepare yourself for the great event. The sun has risen, the entire city is gathered to witness Rama's coronation. Everything has been done as per your wishes, and we are waiting for your coming. Vashishta is here with the other priests. The hall, filled as it is with people, still looks empty without your presence, your majesty. It is like a herd of cattle without the cowherd, like any army without a commander, like the night without the moon, like a kingdom without a ruler." His words hurt the unfortunate king. It was like the twisting of a wound. The king looked at the Sutta, Sumantra. His eyes were red with weeping, and with the sleepless night he had spent, he was a picture of woe. Dashrata looked at Sumantra, who stood before him, and said, "My tears, Sumantra, flow all the more when I hear your words." The charioteer could not understand what was happening. He was able to make out that something was amiss. But beyond that, he could not guess. He moved a few steps away from the king, who was unable to talk even a word after that. Kaikeyi, who saw what was happening, came near Sumantra and spoke in her arrogant and imperious voice. "Sumantra, all through the night, the king spent sleeplessly since he was worried. Worried because of his extreme love for Rama. Just some time back, sleep overcame him and he's dozing. Go at once and bring Rama to the presence of the king. There is nothing here to be concerned about." Sumantra's worried look for a moment ago was wiped out by the words of the queen, and pleased with the thought that he would be meeting Rama soon and that the king would perform the Abhisheka at once, Sumantra hurried away from the presence of the king. He told himself evidently the king wants to discuss some matters of importance with Rama before the coronation, and that is why he has asked Rama to be brought to the chambers of the younger queen. Karkataka Lagna, where under which Rama was born, was fast approaching, and the star Pushya was already said to have reached the neighborhood of the moon. The time was approaching for the coronation, and there was an incessant noise as of the roar of the ocean when Sumantra left for the palace of Rama. Several people asked him on the way, "Where's the king? Why has he not come to the council hall yet? The sun is rising higher and higher in the heavens, and still the king has not come out of his sleeping chambers." Sumantra said, "The king has asked me to fetch Rama from his palace, and that is where I am going. I'll certainly inform the king about the fact that you all are assembled here and that time is fast approaching when the coronation should take place." Sumantra came back to the doorway of the apartments of Kaikeyi and tried to wake up the king once again. Dashrata looked at him with sad eyes and said in a feeble voice, "Sumantra, you were asked to bring Rama. Have you not gone yet? I have to see my child at once. Bring him to me." Puzzled by the general atmosphere, Sumantra did not pause to think. He went fast towards the palace of Rama. It took him some time to cross the dense crowd. Soon he reached the mansion where Rama lived. Rama's palace was like the peak of Kailasha and like the dwelling of Indra himself. It was decorated with flowers, festoons, perfumes, and all the beautiful things that could be found on the face of the earth. The carved doorways, the sculptured figures which were placed here and there, the jeweled entrances to the several chambers, the birds which were making music in the gardens, the beauty of the peacocks which were strutting in the gardens, all lent charm to the glorious palace of Rama. The citizens of Ayodhya saw Sumantra in the chariot proceeding towards the mansion of Rama, and there was great excitement since they knew he had come to fetch the prince. Sumantra reached the palace and entered it. Shatrunjaya, the famed elephant, which was the favorite of Rama, was there, and Sumantra imagined Rama seated on it with a smile, and a smile lighted up his face. He went inside the palace and finally reached the innermost chambers where the prince stayed. He sent word through the doorkeeper, "Please announce to Rama that Sumantra is at the doorstep and wants to pay his respects to the prince." The message was carried to Rama, and he asked for the sutta to be bought with the respect due to an old and trusted attendant of his father. Sumantra went inside. He saw Rama seated on a couch which was inlaid with gold. Rama stood up as Sumantra entered the place, and his charm and beauty made Sumantra close his eyes for a moment and then open again. So overpowering was the effect of Rama's presence. Rama had dressed himself in silk, and by his side stood Sita with a chamara in her hand. Rama and Sita looked like the moon and the star Chitra. Sumantra fell at the feet of the young prince and stood humbly before him. He said, Rama, the king, your father, is desirous of seeing you. He's with his queen Kaikeyi, and I've been asked to take you there at once. Rama received the summons with a pleasant smile and turned to Sita, saying, Sita, the king and my mother want to consult me about something related to the event which has to take place now. This mother of mine, Kaikeyi, is ever thoughtful about my welfare, and she has evidently thought of something new, and the king wants to tell me about it. She is a princess from Kaikeyi, and she's ever devoted to my father. Never once has she displeased him. As for me, I've always seen her with a smile, and Sumantra has come to take me there for some good fortune which awaits me there. It has to be good since the two people who has been discussing my future are my well-wishers, and the Sumantra who has been sent to fetch me is another of my father's friend. I will at once go and pay my respect to my father. Wait for me here. I'll come to you very soon. Sita did not speak a word. She walked with Rama to the doorway and stood watching him enter the chariot. She sent up prayers to all the good gods silently saying, the king has decided to crown my lord today. Protect him, all of you. I ask Indra, Yama, Varuna, and Kubera to be his protectors. He will take up the Diksha and you must all be by his side and guard him. Rama came out of the mansion like a lion does out of his cave, and Lakshmana, who was always with him, stood at the doorway waiting to accompany him. The glorious chariot was on its way, making a noise like distant thunder with horses of great beauty and speed yoked to it. The jewel chariot was making but slow progress through the crowd which had collected in front of the palace and in the streets leading to the great hall in the king's palace. It was a glorious procession, and women from the many terraces and windows of the houses sprinkled the chariot with flowers, and Rama, with a smiling face, acknowledged the affectionate shouts of the people. Each one spoke something in praise of the prince, and the progress of the chariot was slow. They were talking among themselves, fortunate indeed are we, since the prince, this young man, who is the home of all virtues, will be our king from today. It is a day to be remembered by all of us. The chariot reached the palace of the king. Rama descended from the chariot and led by Sumantra, followed by his beloved brother Lakshmana, he entered the palace. That's the end of chapter 8. What stands out for you in this chapter? Who wants to share? So far, we
How
continue.
how I got one.
Okay.
How Sumantra misled the information they were gonna give, and how
Mhm.
Rama also thought that Kaikeyi was like his well wisher,
Mm.
and
That's
not
what I was gonna
realizing.
say. That's what I
That's
was
what I
Okay.
was gonna say. And
Okay.
also
gonna say.
how everyone loved Rama so much and was so excited for him to be the king.
Mm.
So he
Okay.
must have done something like that. He's so nice to everyone that like every single person likes him and he doesn't even have like a single enemy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a man of values. Yeah. Arna, Adia, you want to share something?
Yeah, I also felt that was also really different, or is that I don't know how to pronounce his name, and he misled the information.
Yeah, Sumantra. So, yeah, so Rama, you were saying how good he has done. No, he's just being himself, right? And people can feel all the what he represents, right? We read a chapter just by name Rama, which explains in detail all his qualities and characters and values that he follows, right? So naturally, everyone is endeared, like attracted towards him because of that. So let's continue on. Next chapter 9, Kaikeyi talks to Rama. So Rama went fast towards the apartment of Kaikeyi. He was eager to see his father. Lakshmana stood near the doorway and Rama entered the chambers. Rama looked at his father. Dasharatha was seated on a jeweled couch, and Bharata's mother Kaikeyi was standing at a little distance from him. An unnatural silence pervaded the place. Rama was puzzled and he looked again at his father. The king's face was like that of a rishi who had uttered an untruth. Rama could perceive that the king was suffering from some great mental torture. His face had no evidence of happiness on it, as it would always have when Rama came to his presence. The king's eyes were closed and he was looking as though sorrow had taken shape and become a human being. Such a picture of woe was the king. Rama went to the presence of the king, announced himself, and falling at his feet, clasped his feet in his blessed hands. He prostrated before Kaikeyi and did the same thing. The king could not open his eyes. Tears flowed from them, and he said, Rama. He could proceed no further. His eyes remained closed, and the words would not leave his lips. Rama was taken aback at this strange sight. It was frightening, and Rama was like one who had stepped unwittingly on a snake. The king was sighing like one in great pain. His senses did not seem to be functioning at all. He looked like the sun eclipsed by Rahu, the dread planet. Rama could not guess the reason for the king's unhappiness, and he stood with his mind in a great turmoil. He thought to himself, this is the first time that such a thing has happened. My father has never once failed to greet me with a smile, an embrace, and a loving word. I've never tried to I have ever tried to obey him in all things. Why does he not look at me? Why does he refuse to talk to me? Have I offended him in any way? Even if he is angry with someone, he would smile when I went to him. But today he is different. Rama stood for a long moment looking at his father. He went near Kaikeyi and said, Mother, father seems to be angry with me. As he said it, Rama's voice was full of sadness and his pain could be seen on his face. He was sorely grieved to see his father thus. He asked her, Tell me, how have I offended my father the king? I have never once done anything to displease him. Please, if I have unwittingly done so, please on my behalf plead with the king and pacify him. He has ever been sweet to me, and today he seems to be very unhappy, displeased, and unwilling to speak to me. I'm not able to bear it. Is he unwell or is he mentally upset? He is not like ordinary human beings to be affected by the usual sorrows which bothers others. He's far above all that. I'm afraid, my mother, I hope no bad news has reached you from Kaikeyi about my beloved brother Bharata or Shatrughna. Unless and until I do what my father wants me to do, I cannot rest in peace. I am unable to live with this fear in my mind that I have displeased my father. A father is divinity incarnate to a man, and my father is the God whom I worship daily. How can I bear to see him so unhappy? I know I should not ask this of you, but have you by any chance hurt him with harsh words spoken thoughtlessly? Mother, please tell me what makes him look like the moon under an eclipse. When he heard Rama, when she heard Rama, Kaikeyi spoke words which were harsh and heartless. She had no hesitation to speak words which were like a thunderclap when they were first heard by the king. She said, Rama, the king is not angry with you, nor is he unwell. Bharata and Shatrughna are well too. A matter of grave importance, of great moment, is now lodged in his mind. He is not able to talk to you since he is afraid you may not be pleased with his words. He is extremely fond of you, Rama, and these words refuse to leave his lips. Kaikeyi paused for a while. Her face was calm and unruffled. She had no thought of the censure of the world which would condemn her forever, nor did she feel that she was doing something unforgivable, an act which was unparalleled in the history of Raghuvamsa. She continued, What has been promised to me by him should be fulfilled by you. Kaikeyi looked at Rama in his beautiful face, which was full of concern for his father and impatience to know what she was trying to say. He listened with eager eyes. Kaikeyi said, Once this king had granted me two boons, and that was when he was extremely pleased with me. Now, when he's asked to live up to it, he's repenting his gift like an ordinary illiterate man. After committing himself, he's trying to go back on his word like a foolish man who's trying to build a bridge after the floods have damaged everything. His love for you is making him untrue. Rama, I do not have to tell you that the true sign of good men is to walk in the path of Dharma, to speak the truth, never to swerve from it. This, I am told, is the only pathway to heaven. Since that is so, the king should not transgress the rules of Dharma even for the sake of the love he has for his son. If you agree to fulfill the conditions of my boons, whether they are pleasing to you or displeasing, I will tell you all about it. I'll relate to you the desire and the heart of the king, and it is up to you to save the honor of your father. He will never speak to you about it. But knowing you as I do, I have no doubt that you will do what is desirable, and I will talk to you. Rama was listening. He was as still as an image carved out of stone. He saw his father suffering and he was himself quite upset by the words of Kaikeyi. He had never heard this harsh, hard tone in her voice before. Her face had lost the charm and softness which he was he was wont to see always. Mother, said Rama, Mother, you should not say this to me. You should not say if you will do it. You know my devotion to my father. If the king wishes me to do something, nothing will stop me from obeying him. I will fall into a blazing fire, drink poison without hesitation, or drown myself in the sea if my father so wishes. I am hurt that you should have doubted it even for a moment. It is my misfortune that you should have thought so. I am the slave of my father, who is my elder, who is my guru, who is everything good and great to me. Tell me, mother, tell me what the king desires me to do. I promise to do so immediately, and you must know that Rama speaks but once, and no one need to ask him to repeat what he said for assurance. Please tell me about my father's commands. Kaikeyi spoke to the great prince who was devoted to one thing and only one thing, and that was the path of Dharma, whose religion was truth. Kaikeyi, who had now passed beyond the caring for the opinion of the world, speaking in a calm and emotionless voice. Long ago, Rama, there was war in the heavens between the Devas and the Asuras. Your father had gone to help Indra, and I had gone with him. I happened to save the life of the king, and he, pleased with me, granted me two boons. I had told him that I would ask for them when I needed them. I asked him now for the two boons. It is not as though he cannot grant them. All I wanted was that Bharata, instead of you, should be crowned the Yuvaraja, and that you should spend 9 years and 5 more in the Dandaka forest. Rama, if the king should prove truthful, it is up to you to help him do so. If you accept these conditions and fulfill his promise to me, he will be saved from being called Adharmi. You must go away to the forest and spend these years away from Ayodhya. Bharata must be crowned. Wearing deerskin and tree bark, you must spend 7 years and another 7 in the Dandaka forest. Bharata will rule the land of the Ikshvakus. Love for you is blinding this king, and is in danger of following the path of Adharma by breaking his promise. He is not able to look you in the face since he is bound by his word. You should do what I told you just now. You're a jewel among the sons of this house, and you must undertake the task of saving your father's name. Unperturbed as he always was by pleasure or pain, happiness or sorrow, by the sway of the opposites, Rama stood calm. There was not even a trace of disappointment or anger in his face. Her harsh words and no disturbing effect on the face of the great Prince Rama. It was a king who looked more unhappy than before, and he was moaning in pain. We'll stop there. This is a big chapter. So we'll look at what happens next tomorrow, page 136. Let's say our closing prayers, everyone. Close your eyes and make your spine straight. Drop your shoulders, open your chest, take a deep breath in. Together. Om. 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 Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you for the
Thank you for the
class.
class.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.